What's the word, y'all? This is Average Z Fighter. We got another reaction today. There was something that was special at the Nintendo Direct live today, and so I just want to get right into it. Let's talk about it. I want to know you guys' thoughts as well, if anybody else saw it. But yeah, let's just share some thoughts right after this. Here we go. Switch 2 and the Switch. Sparking. This game still looks so beautiful, man. Can't help but smile when I see it.
Gotta stop this, no matter what. There's nowhere left to run. Let's go. Dodge this. Come on.
You're mine. Yeah. Die.
Help me out.
Let's finish this. Just like that. Take this. Let's end this thing. Right here. Right now.
You did good today, Gohan. Made me proud.
Hang in there. You are number one.
See ya! We will both continue to get stronger and stronger, don't you think? You're well beyond my normal limits. I'm going to defeat you.
November 14th of this year. So it's on the Switch 1 as well, but as you can see, the focus is for the Switch 2. We're going to get into why. Talk about the pre-order bonus. It's basically all the stuff that we are already supposed to be getting.
We will be releasing an update for the Nintendo
Alright,
Switch
so this is kind of the special part. Check it out.
Sparking Zero to allow you to play an enhanced version on the Nintendo Switch 2 console. By connecting your Nintendo Switch 2 console to the internet and downloading the update, characters and backgrounds will appear with improved clarity and richer detail.
That's the way that it looks on Xbox
As a
and
point of
PlayStation
caution when applying the
PC.
update, some save data from when the Nintendo Switch version of the
The
software
left
was
version
played
is
on
how
the
it
Nintendo
looks
Switch console
on Switch
can be
currently.
carried over. But battle replay data, edit data created in custom battles, and online battle records cannot be carried over. Conversely, after applying the update on a Nintendo Switch 2 console, then returning to play the Nintendo Switch version of the software on the original Nintendo Switch console, some data can be carried over, while others cannot. If you play the Nintendo Switch version of the software on the Nintendo Switch 2 console with the update applied, you will be able to battle online or offline with users who are either playing the Nintendo Switch version of the software with the same update applied, or the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the software. However, please note that you will not be able to battle online or offline with users who are playing the Nintendo Switch version of the software on the Nintendo Switch console. This concludes the explanation of the update for the Nintendo Switch version.
Cool. So, my thoughts. I love Sparking Zero so much, man, but this just makes me sad. And it makes me sad because, I mean, they just said that the Switch and the Switch 2 are not going to be able to play against the same people online, which this game is basically like, it's super online forward. That's the selling point of this game. Also, just to see, which I didn't know this at first, that the Switch version of this game was basically dumbed down so they could port it to the Switch, because the Switch is a popular console right now. Now, we know that the specs of the Switch and of the PlayStation 4 are basically the same. And so a lot of people have wondered why can't we get this on the PlayStation 4 if we could get this on the Switch? And my response to that, the reason is because the PlayStation 4 is being phased out. It's just that simple. The Switch is not being phased out. They're still making games for the Switch and the Switch 2, and they still make games for the PlayStation 4 as well. But there's a PlayStation 5 now, and there's speculation of PlayStation 6. there's no speculation for anything after the Switch 2, which just came out. So that's why they're still making games for it. And that's why it would be irresponsible financially for Bandai Namco not to make a Switch version, and Nintendo for them not to make a Switch version of Sparking Zero, like a regular Switch. And obviously with the Switch 2, that's why we now get the enhanced graphics and stuff like that. That's because the Switch 2 can do 4K at 60 frames a second and stuff like that. The reason why I believe they won't be able to play online together is because the Switch has had issues playing anything at 60 frames per second that I've noticed. So even in some games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, that's supposed to be 1080p or HD at 60 frames per second, there are still frames that drop. The Switch was just not as optimized for these games as they were supposed to be to keep it up to par with what the Xbox and the PlayStation are doing. And so now that the Switch 2 can, because it's 4K 60, Sparking Zero already has issues and problems with, they already have issues and problems with the netcode and with frames dropping, right? So if you use any of Nappa's, his supers, or if you use like any of the darkness eye beams that Cooler has or that Dr. Giro has, when it explodes, or kind of the move that Sin Shinron has, right? That there are multiple explosions. I don't know what it's called. When it explodes, frames drop. And so if it's doing that for something that can process 4K 60, then it's probably going to be way worse on the Switch, which only does 10K 60. So, or not 10K, HD 1080p 60. So that's my thoughts. The thing that really rubs me the wrong way, though, is that, again, it's the same thing that they did with releasing this game early alongside the Daima anime. They're doing this same thing now. They should be, in my opinion, my humble opinion, Bandai Namco, Spike Chunsoft should be putting all of their energy into getting the mechanics to work the way that they're supposed to. Revenge counter, there's still an exploit where if you, I'm on PlayStation, you press circle as you get hit with the revenge counter, or right after you get hit with it. If you can't catch it, then you'll recover faster and be able to punish somebody for using the revenge counter. Often they can't do anything about it. There's even the revenge counter when you do a lightning attack, right? So when you do your vanish follow-ups and then you do the lightning attack from the sky and you do a revenge counter after you got hit with the lightning attack, you still will punch the air sometimes instead of punching your opponent in the back. That problem is still in there. The infinite paralyzed key blast gut punch loop, Cooler can do it, Glorio can do it. That is still an issue in the game. It's still there. And so I just, like, there are things in the game that just still don't work properly. You can still get locked out of vanishes, the second vanish or the third vanish in this game. The netcode still isn't the way that it should be. These are mechanics that are core mechanics to get the game to work, and those don't work properly. So why are we worrying about porting this to the newest console that's coming out? All you're porting to the newest console is the same issues that are breaking the game and having people like me step away from the game. And the answer to that is because of money. It's just that simple. People who don't have a PlayStation, who want to play Sparking Zero, there's a market for that. And it would be, from a business standpoint, it's great that Nintendo is doing it and that Bandai and Spike Chunsoft are releasing this game. But as far as serving the customers, putting love into your game, is horrible. And to me, it just shows that to us, we are, I'll just say, in terms of where their priorities lie, we are second to the money, of course, but you can be second to the money, but you could be a close second to the money. We are not a close second to the money. We are sparking slaves to Bandai and Spike Chunsoft at this point, to be honest. We still don't have the button mash recovery that we should have. We still have all of these other issues that I already mentioned in the game. Every character in the game is still not viable. Flying kicks is still way too strong because they took out the sonic sway on guard. Basically, if you were punching somebody while they were blocking and you hit perception at the right time, then you would put them in a Sonic Sway animation. You can't do that anymore in that buffed flying kicks, and every character doesn't have it. So every character is not viable in this game. Maj and Vegeta with no rolling hammer and no flying kicks. Sin Shenron with no rolling hammer and no flying kicks. Turles with no rolling hammer and no flying kicks. These characters are extremely hard to use, and it's forcing people to use cheesy tactics like key blast resets after every combo to get damage off, because a lot of these characters are weak and they have no way to initiate offense. And then they nerfed the key blast hit stun, so you can't really initiate offense from mid-range either. And then they also nerfed zoning, you know what I mean, with MUI and his what should be an undeflectable key blast, or the sword characters. Now you can just vanish it, and now MUI and UIs and what is his name, Corrupt Zamasu, the little air palm key blast, they're the same as every other key blast. So there's no zoning, right? They just nerf these things to the ground instead of nerfing them properly, putting the proper mechanics like recovery in the game that would have fixed these issues. And so these other characters that I mentioned, the ones without flying kicks and rolling hammer, they're really suffering. They're really suffering. Giants are really suffering. And, you know, it's beautiful that they put in the trailer all of these different characters. You saw Dragon Ball Goku and, you know, like Teen Goku and all of those characters, but they're not all viable. People are not using them. They're not. I played that game every single day. I hit Z rank with a 6 DP character, no health transformation, no after image strike, none of that stuff. None of that stuff. I hit Z rank with Cell Perfect Form, 6 DP, and nobody's using any of those characters. We got a like 200 character roster and nobody's using them. And the reason is because they're not viable, because Bandai and Spike Chunsoft did not steward this game properly. So that stuff just breaks my heart, man. And then the release date, this is how it makes me feel. So it's November 14th, right? And they're getting all the stuff that we are supposed to have already, but there was no announcement trailer, no, nothing of the Daima 2 DLC pack or DLC 3 or Daima pack 2. There was nothing, no talk about it. They, just like how they did at the Dramatic Showdown, they gave us that 30-second weak trailer, but they gave us something and they tried, right? They didn't give us anything here. Nothing. They could have easily gave us a little bit of, you know, from adult Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4, where Goku says, and I would expect that this will be his transformation because it was peak in the anime, where he said, not here's a little extra, but he said something like one more thing, or he said there's more, or something like that, right before he went Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4 and he took the shirt off. They could have did something as simple as that, right? He could have just had his little mouth right there, you know, that's how it was in the anime, and said, there's more, and then just left it at that. That would have been heat, right? It wouldn't have been what we expected, but it would have been something. We know that you're trying. They're not trying. They don't care. I'm not going to lie. Like, and this is coming from somebody who I've been playing a game since launch. I'm a super optimistic person. But when you get disrespected again and again and again, you got to have respect for yourself. I've wanted to play Sparking every single day since I stopped playing it when I released that last Sparking video that I put out. I want to do a DP team for shout out Christian Seda, who's been pushing DP, and he's one of the creators that's putting Sparking Zero on his back when the developers don't really care. I've wanted to do a video like that. I've had some ideas, but I got to stick to my guns. You got to put your attention and put your money where your mouth is. If I'm upset that Bandai's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, I got to turn the game off. That's the only thing that's going to get their attention if the character player base drops even further than it has. We went from 120,000 on Steam to the lowest that I've seen has been 500 some players at the lulls in the day, and the peak has been about 1,400. That's a little bit over 1% of player retention. That's horrible. 3 million copies sold first day, 5 to 6 million sold to this date. And they're still talking about releasing this on new consoles and stuff, but you haven't given us any new maps. We still don't have button mash recovery, which is a basic thing in the game. Some people, there's still an exploit in the game where you can rage quit and not lose any points. Just sit with that for a second. We sat with people rage quitting forever. No penalty. You can still rage quit in the opening screen with no penalty. But y'all want a Sparking Zero too. Hey, it is what it is, man. Thank y'all for listening. God bless you. Jesus, cover everybody who watched this. Just let your will be done in the gaming community, God. Let your will be done with Sparking Zero. Please, please fix it. Ivory Z Fighter out. Ciao.